Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today I want to talk about Alisa Boskanovich. I know I said I didn't want to talk about her story in the past, but my mind changed. I don't know why, but I'm feeling kind of inspired to take a look at what this character brings to the table. I have some tweets from Harada. I have the story here. We're just going to go through, pause, and read everything. Starting off with character relationships, I'll read Dr. Boskanovich first. Dr. Boskanovich created her in a secret laboratory overseen by a secret service division of the Mishima Zaibatsu, personally headed by Jin Kazama. In the non-canon Tekken Blood Vengeance, she mentions Dr. Boskanovich as a part of her embedded programming. This part here gives us more insight on the robot itself. Despite being a robot, Alisa can eat food and in fact has more finely tuned abilities to taste or analyze taste than a human. This is shown in her less than stellar review of martial law's cooking in Scenario 6 campaign. And Harada actually goes a little bit further with this. I think you guys will like this. Someone says, why does Alisa even have a breast bounce? Isn't her torso plastic? Harada says, her skeleton by tungsten carbide and outer skin armor consists of titanium and depleted uranium, but it's surrounded by artificial skin. This tweet here gives us a lot of information on how strong this character is. I know you guys probably seen the screenshots and images before, but in the movie, some of her skin got ripped off and you can see the metal underneath. What I think would be really cool if this same thing happened in Tekken 8. In Tekken 8, if she maybe got into a fight with Kazuya or Jin or something like that and parts of her skin got ripped off. And this is like an outfit in Tekken 7. You have like not fully exposed the metal core, but you just have like partially exposed, kind of like Terminator kind of thing. I think that would be really cool to see the robot underneath the artificial skin. That would be a really cool design option for this character, and it would make her feel so much more real. She often feels like a Barbie, like a doll. I think this would give so much more personality to her. There is some more tweets in here. Continuing to be a troll, they serve as shock absorbers. I'm guessing he's meaning the artificial flesh. It softens the blow to the metal core. Reading her biography, it says, Dr. Boskanovich, a genius Russian scientist, had long been seeking a way to revive his daughter. Alisa is the fruit of that research, being a robot who bears her image, name, and personality. Alisa was created by Dr. Boskanovich, and according to her Tekken 6 prologue, nothing else is known about her past history. Aside from her creator, only a few people know about her being a robot. Among them are Jin Kazama, Wang, Raven, Lars, Nina, and Lee. Those are the only characters who know she is a android, and that kind of speaks to how real the artificial, and this is why I think it would be so cool to see how characters would react to parts of the flesh being ripped off. Notice that Kazuya is not mentioned here either. She was designed to answer directly to Jin, and her autonomy can be overridden by a command from him. Neither Nina, Eddie, or the rest of the Tekken Force were aware of the project to build Alisa. It's implied that Alisa had been awake prior to the events of Tekken 6, as she related conversations she had with Boskanovich in the past. The lab Alisa was built in Boskanovich Laboratory, specialized in creating high-tech weaponry for the Mishima Zaibatsu. I think that's really cool how Jin didn't even tell Nina and Eddie about this. He kept it so hush-hush. He only allowed the people who needed to know to know. And this kind of goes back to the idea about Nina not being in the circle the way that she thinks. I really want to touch Nina's story next so I can really expand on that idea. But this is another example of the Mishimas keeping the Williams sisters out of the loop. Okay, so jumping into the scenario campaign, at first I wasn't going to read this, but I did a little skim of it and there's no way I can't pass this up. I will summarize this first paragraph, however. It basically says that Alisa is being kept inside of a lab, and G Corporation and Yggdrasil, that's the team Lars is leading, they both raid this lab at the same time. I don't know why they both raid it. Maybe they think Jin is here, maybe they are trying to find some weapon. I don't know. They fight each other, and sometime during or sometime after the battle, Lars gets knocked upside the head, he passes out, And when he wakes up, he's like stumbling around and he falls and hits Alisa's tank. He wakes her up, and that's her first time, her first time in the story being awake. And then Lars, since he got hit in the head, he forgets who he is. So both of them is kind of having this fish out of water experience where Alisa doesn't know who he is, and the whole lab is destroyed, and Lars kind of forgot who he is, who he was, and now he's standing face to face with this little girl, it looks like. Now a Jack robot comes out the cuts, try to kill both of them. They team up to take it down, and after they take it down, they're approached by Lars, second in command. And the second in command is talking about all this stuff, G Corporation and yada yada yada. And Lars is like, wait, I don't know what you're talking about. I need to regain my memory. When Alisa and Lars come to see Wang, he warns Lars of Alisa possibly being dangerous and encourages him to seek out Heihachi Mishima. Meeting Heihachi triggers Lars' memories, and he remembers that Heihachi is his birth father, and all the rest of his memories also return. When I read this, it was so weird. First off, why would you even knock out his memory if he's gonna get it back immediately? Heihachi suggests they join forces, but Lars declines and points a gun at his father. Alisa tries to intercede to stop him, but Lars shoots Heihachi anyways. He survives by catching a bullet between his teeth, just like he did the axe in the Tekken anime series, and then Lars declares that Heihachi isn't worth his time and leaves. Yeah, right, Lars was spooked. Lars tried to shoot him, Heihachi caught the bullet, and then now Lars is running away. Oh, you ain't even worth my time. Oh my god, if he wasn't worth your time, you would have never tried to shoot him. You realized that he was gonna put hands on you. You realized you was about to get electric wind godfist up in that building, so you left. Now I'm gonna cut out some things here because it's really Lars kind of running errands and Alisa just tagging along. They run into Lee, they run into Wang, they run into Heihachi, they run into Lars' second in command. He ends up dying in a miniature battle they have with G Corporation, but all that stuff really doesn't matter when you're talking about Alisa. If this was Lars' story, I'll be all over it, but this is Alisa's story. Lars and Alisa finally reach the Zaibatsu and battle their way to Jin. When they meet Jin, however, he orders Alisa to reboot. Lars doesn't understand what's happening, but Alisa confirms the command and obeys Jin. Jin explains that Alisa was designed to protect him. He commands her to fight Lars and tells Lars that he will talk to him only after he defeats Alisa. Jin then leaves. Lars tries to talk down Alisa, unwilling to fight her, but it soon becomes clear Alisa is no longer recognizing him and Lars must fight her. After defeating Alisa, Lars offers his hand to help her get up, and for a moment it seems she recognizes him, but then she strikes him and flies away. Now skipping to when they're at the temple. This is Azel's temple. Lars and Raven both go inside together and they beat Azel, but only someone with the devil gene can truly beat him, so Jin is on his way. Now this is when Alisa steps back into the story. Outside, Lars finds Jin. Lars is about to strike him when Alisa suddenly interrupts. Lars asks her if she really doesn't know who he is, to which she answers he is an enemy. She attacked Lars and he is forced to fight her again. He defeated her and this time her system starts to shut down. Lars approaches her and Alisa tells him that she never wanted to fight him, but she couldn't disobey. This is sad. She says she wishes their journey had lasted longer and she reaches out her hand. Lars hesitates and then reaches out to her, but Alisa shuts down. That is crazy. I want to take a little break here and talk about this because I want to see how this relationship between the two expand. Move on from this because she really is like it. See, here's the thing. She's not like a mindless robot. It seems like she's aware of all the protocols and data that was entered inside of her. When Jin gives her a command, she hears it, she thinks about it, and then she acts upon it. It's almost as if like she is aware of what Dr. Boskanovich implanted in her. And I wonder if she really wanted to, or if she really tried, would she be able to disobey it? Because it says here, she says here, she couldn't disobey. And I wonder, is there something mechanically that is preventing that? Or if she just feels she has to comply. However, Jin watches all this and mocks Lars for treating a useless piece of junk in that way. Lars gets angry. Lars then fights Jin. At the end of the fight, Jin explains that he started the war in hopes of dragging in Kazuya and causing enough destruction in the world to full awaken the demon Azel. Jin had been hearing Azel's voice in his head, explaining how to awake him. Jin believed that awakening Azel fully would allow him to kill the demon, rid himself and his father of the devil gene, and destabilize the world, corruption, governments, and corporations, giving people a chance to rise up. This part is, I'm actually happy that I'm kind of reading this, because why haven't you guys told me about this? So one of the key motivations for Jin causing the war is to wake up Azel, because he wants to try and get rid of the devil gene. But he also says to destabilize the world's corrupt governments and corporations, giving the people a chance to rise up. That's powerful. So, and here's the thing too, I just made a video where I was talking about this, and now I feel like the biggest idiot, because Jin is actually like trying to help people. He's trying to, I don't want to say establish a new world order and all that stuff, but he sees the corruption. He sees the agony people go through, and he's kind of like trying to achieve his objectives with the war, right? Getting rid of the devil gene and Azel, but he's also trying to help people, normal people who can't help themselves. This is really cool. I did not know this beforehand, and I'm surprised no one has said this. I'm so surprised. After everything is over, Lars places Alisa in his car and takes her to Li Xiaolan, whose company, Violet Systems, specializes in robotics. He asks Li to help him and fix Alisa up, and Li promises he will do it. Now, from the time that Alisa is destroyed and out of work to her being reconstructed is quite some, well, I don't want to say a long period of time, but a lot happens since then, right? So jumping from Tekken 6 into Tekken 7, I believe this is halfway through the story of Tekken 7. It says, upon awakening, Alisa becomes very hostile at Li and fights him. After being defeated, Alisa suddenly remembers who Li is, but questions why she's at the Violet Systems and what transpired. With the help of Violet Systems technology, Alisa also regains her memories and desires to see Lars again. Suddenly they come under attack from Tekken Force. Together, Li and Alisa dispatch soldiers to make their escape. Arriving at the Li's facility, Alisa is happily reunited with Lars, jumping on him and expressing her desires to see him again. After finding Jin lying in coma, Alisa detects the approach of Tekken Force. Alisa assists Lars in holding back the soldiers before he orders her to protect Jin. Alisa, however, is stopped by Nina Williams, who herds her off for long enough to capture Jin. But to Alisa's and Lars' relief, Li is piloting the helicopter that is carrying Jin, and Li remotely detonates the facility. Alisa hastily flies away with Lars. After Heihachi's death, Alisa is seen with Lars Li on the rooftop of the destroyed city, stating that various nations are facing invasion from Kazuya. They then watch as Jin readies himself to find and kill his father. So the part in there about Nina I think is really interesting, because something that I always mention, I don't really mention it that much now, but going back, I always talk about where is Jin going to go first. At the end, he's standing on that rooftop, and he kind of has two choices. One, he can go straight to Kazuya, G Corporation, or two, he can make a pit stop, a detour, and go back to reclaim the Mishima Zaibatsu. We saw how easily it was for Heihachi to do it. At the start of Tekken 7, he literally took it over in 10 minutes and was bossing Nina around. In 10 minutes. Jin, with his whole team of people, they can do it in 4. Another part in here that is really fascinating. It doesn't have to do with Lee, Lars, or Jin, but the part in here about Kazuya. It says, stating various nations are facing invasion from Kazuya. This is crazy because we've been talking about Kazuya and what he can do in the story, and a lot of us has been talking about him, kind of, I don't want to say rejoicing, but he's kind of like happy that Heihachi is now gone. Heihachi's gone and he's kind of just like easy peasy, he's just chilling. But that is not what the story is telling us. The story is specifically saying that he's basically going to continue the war that Jin started. And I think it's for different reasons. I don't think he's trying to reawaken the Zell. I don't think he's trying to conquer the world. Why I think he's trying to invade them is because he was discovered to be a devil. A lot of these places realized he was a devil and they were trying to figure out what to do with him. AKA, that means dethrone him. That means get him out of office. That means eliminate him. You're not going to let a devil remain in power. So it seems like Kazuya is attacking not because he's evil or not because he's trying to take over the world, but he's attacking because they know the truth. They know he's a devil and he kind of has to strike them before they strike him, because various nations, that basically means the world. Now, if the world teams up and they fight G Corporation, I'm pretty sure they would win. Yes, at the very end, Kazuya may still be alive, one-man army, but his whole company, his whole military, Bruce, Anna, all of his allies will possibly be dead. He, at the very end, when it's all said and done, might be the only one left. I think that's very interesting. Various nations are facing invasion. I wonder how Alisa will play a role in this. Like I said, I want to see her get into a big battle with Kazuya. Really big battle, and I want her to take damage. I don't know why, but just thinking about the metal underneath being exposed and her true self being shown, I think that would be so cool as a outfit, as a design, because Alisa is always so peaceful, so nice, so kind. So to see the more battle mode side take the forefront for once, right? We have 2 games of Alisa being this nice girl, but to see her be a true battle-hardened robot for once would be really cool. I wonder what the Alisa mains will think about my idea for her design. Do you guys want her to continue with how she looks, or would you like at least an alternate outfit where she has the metal exposed and she looks just like she looks like she's been in a world war, right? But I'm really interested to see what all these characters do. Like I said, the more I read the story, the more I appreciate it. There's so many things in here that I never heard of, that I forgot, and just reading it over and over from many different characters' perspectives is really cool to do. But that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully everyone found this as enjoyable and entertainable as I did. But that's going to be it. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.